This is the hot take, the final segment of the podcast where usually I go online, find a hot take regarding Dragon Ball. We discuss, we say if we agree, disagree, and talk about it, and then let the comments run wild of why we're wrong. But this week I haven't done that. Ajoten, you've done that. You found a take online about the newest superhero film, I believe. So what are we making people angry about this week?
Yes. So I've had a hunt online, and it's technically a hot take. So I had a hunt about, and I've actually found an article / review about superhero. It's quite short, and so I've summed it up a little bit. And it's someone who was quite disappointed, I'll say, in the new film. Literally, the article is entitled "Superheroes Disappointing." Basically, it's super disappointing.
Wow. How many supers can you fit in a title?
Yeah.
Dragon Ball superhero is super disappointing.
Yeah. So basically, summed up. So basically, it's so Dragon Ball's at an. So this is basically the start of the article. So Dragon Ball is at an interesting crossroads at the moment. While the Dragon Ball Super manga by Akira Toriyama and Toyotaro is ongoing, its anime adaptation concluded a few years ago, and despite an ongoing web series titled Super Dragon Ball Heroes, the anime franchise seems to be in limbo. And despite being one of the most successful manga and anime series of all time, looking at recent media, such as the new movie, there is the worry that the Dragon Ball is struggling to stay relevant.
That's it? That's a full take?
Yeah.
It's struggling to stay relevant.
Yeah. So basically implying that things such as the new movie, because they've stepped back into realms such as the Red Ribbon, they have no new ideas or anything like that, and so they have no way to move on.
Well. I mean, one thing that proves this all wrong is that Dragon Ball Super is now the best grossing anime film of all time in America. And it's over 70 million grossing now, I think, since its release. It's the best performing Dragon Ball film of all time. It's the best performing anime film of all time, I believe. So, struggling to stay relevant? Are you sure about that? John Cena meme through the green screen? Are you sure about that?
Well,
I'm not sure.
I think the first thing I'd like to point out is this article was posted on the 18th of August.
So even then, that was
I
less
find
than 2
that
weeks ago.
very odd that it says that it's in limbo, the anime, yet it's been announced that Super's coming back.
Yeah. Wait, so
not in limbo.
This was posted on the release day of the film, the English release. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was before all the records and stuff were broken.
So I find it odd to say that the anime is in limbo when this article was released after it was announced that the anime has been said that they're going to do more super stuff.
Yeah.
But it seems to be that not a lot of that for someone who's writing articles, they haven't done their research.
Yeah. What can I say about this? what can I say? I mean, I just completely disagree. It's just a weird take because the guy hasn't done his research. He or she, I guess, doesn't know that definitely he. Okay then. Well, he hasn't done his research to find out that the show has already been announced to return because that was announced before the 18th, and yeah, since it's been released, he's been proven wrong anyway by all of the records that it's broken in the cinema and stuff. And Is his point just the fact that we haven't had any further adaptations of the anime for like since when? 2018, 2017, maybe?
4 years, yeah.
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 Is
So
that
we
his
need,
point? Just the fact that we've had the Broly film and now Superhero, but apart from that, we've had no canon anime for 4 years? Is that what he's trying to say?
it
So that's
must
why it's in
be,
limbo?
yeah. I mean, but just it's strange because it's like, but we have. I mean, we've had Super Dragon Ball Heroes, so we've. I know it's not canon, but we've had ongoing. So
Hmm.
saying relevant. I mean, it's very popular. Super
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Heroes. I mean, it's you're saying it's relevancy and everything like that, but there is a story. Like it's not a canon story, but there is engaging story there. I mean, we've reacted to it and everything like that. It's interesting and everything. It's engaging.
Also,
It's not repetition. It's not just random. Well, it is random, but you know what I mean. It's
yeah.
like it is new content.
Also, on that relevant note, it's just been introduced into Fortnite.
Yeah,
And this was before the 18th as well, I think. Yeah, pretty sure it's been out for more than 2 weeks at this point.
16th, actually, I think it was.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Dragon
16th.
Ball
Yeah.
has just partnered with Fortnite, and that's been like one of the biggest Fortnite releases of all time, I think, as far as like a DLC pack goes. And also, which I mean, this is after. This has only been announced yesterday, I think, as of recording, or maybe the day before. Dragon Ball is partnering with PUBG as well.
I did not
So
know that.
yeah, so
Yes, 16th of August. I've just checked. 16th of August is when Fortnite and Dragon Ball
Dragon
come.
Ball, yeah, and now they're doing a collab with PUBG as well. So Dragon Ball is extremely relevant right now. I mean, yes, to be fair, the Dragon Ball superhero film was maybe one of the worst promoted films that they've done. Like Beerus was huge because, well, the Battle of Gods was huge just because it was the first Dragon Ball release in years since the end of Z. There was a lot of promotion going into that. And then Resurrection F was pretty huge because it was the return of Frieza and there was a lot of promotion for that. Even Broly was pretty big because this was after the end of the actual anime and it was the first release since then, so they hyped that up as well. Superhero, there wasn't really much for it.
It didn't get as much love, no.
No, but we have Dragon Ball has proven that they don't even need to advertise, and it's breaking all these records. And it's a film that doesn't even feature Goku and Vegeta. Are you kidding me? And it's the one that breaks all the records.
It still smashed it. It didn't
Yeah,
seem to. It seemed to like blast off a lot in the West as well,
yeah,
surprisingly, which is the big thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
which is massive.
and I'm very surprised with. It seems to be very underestimated in this take, like massively underestimated. I mean, and it seems to be that they're very much focusing on in this take, very much focusing on the fact that they've in this film they've decided to step back to the red ribbon. And I know we early in this podcast we did say that they stepped back to use the red ribbon. But we said that they had to do that for the sake of Gohan and Piccolo because they needed a lesser threat, so to speak. But to be quite frank, they at the time were lesser warriors, so they had to.
Yeah.
They're not now, but they were. Now, if you look at the manga and what the anime can use, now that we know it's coming back, you have Gas and Morrow and everybody that they can use and all these really powerful, like you have new enemies that the anime can use from the manga. You have upcoming enemies if they choose to take that route. We don't know if the anime is going to follow the manga. Probably, I would assume it will. I don't know what if it will or won't, but we don't know that yet. But if it does choose to, you have these new enemies that people who haven't read the manga, that the anime viewers know nothing about. So the fact of relevancy doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Like it's not rehash at all. And if they don't choose to follow the manga, they're brand new for everybody. So technically, everybody in. The manga readers may not be happy about that. Some actually might be, because a lot of manga viewers may have accepted the fact that there's going to be this whole separate timeline. So some may be happy, some may not be happy. Because there isn't going to be continuity. There's going to be separate. Someone's going to not be happy, basically. But there's going to be new stuff, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think this. Yeah, it was almost 2 weeks ago now, but I feel like Dragon Ball's at like one of its all-time high popularities right now. Like maybe not so much as the Z release, like episode by episode, like at the time, popularity-wise, but apart from that, well, even Super as well. Super was trending almost every week when each episode was released. But you know, it's peaked again right now. It is so popular. Even all the memes that you've seen online with the Kamehameha wave and all that stuff. From Fortnite noobs who don't know Dragon Ball. But just because of Fortnite alone, so many new people have been introduced to Dragon Ball because people are like, oh, these are the guys from Fortnite, which, it's a bad way to look at it. But there will be new kids and, you know, other people who somehow have avoided Dragon Ball for all these years or whatever, and are now introduced to it.
When people see Master Chief and they're like, oh, it's the guy from Fortnite. It's not, it's the guy from Heeroh.
Yeah, but there's going to be a new wave of Dragon Ball fans who have been introduced through Fortnite, and a new wave of fans who have started Dragon Ball by watching Super, which is new. You know, all of these fans who started Dragon Ball with Z, which is kind of the expected route in, almost. But there's going to be this new wave who just started Super, and then just like, oh, Dragon Ball Super, like, we'll just start from episode 1 and see how it goes. And that's going to be weird. Imagine, like, a new Dragon Ball fan who starts with Super.
It's like, if you're a Z kid, you're a Super kid, you're an OG kid. I was a Z kid. Like, I didn't start with OG, and it's like, everyone's got to start somewhere. Like, so...
Yeah, I mean, I started with Z as well, but I went back and watched OG, and I'm glad I did. But Z was my introduction to Dragon Ball. But I couldn't imagine beginning with Super. I feel like you've missed so much. Like, it's almost... It's half excusable for not watching OG because, you know, Z completely changes the story. It goes from just being a karate show, pretty much, to being a space alien beam show fighting anime, but they completely switch the script at the start of Z, so it's forgivable to start from there. But starting at Super, they're continuing the story, and it's like, but you don't know anything. How can you start from here? How can you start with Battle of the Gods?
It's like you're stepping into series 5 of a TV show or something like that.
Yeah, like that's weird, and especially since the first few episodes of Super are badly animated as well. Imagine trying to explain that this is the show that everyone's talking about, with all this bad animation at the start. It's like, well, you know, there's like 500 episodes that you've missed before you start, but okay. But
the thing, it's like, I remember Firefly TV show a long time ago. It's like, it's got a cult following now, but when it was originally aired, it was they accidentally showed episode 2 first, and so everybody, so everybody who watched it had no idea what was going on, because obviously episode 1 introduces the characters and everything like that. So everybody who's watching was like, what's going on? What is this show? And so obviously the ratings for the next episode were just shocking, and so it got cancelled after a first season. And
that's
now it's got a cult following now, but obviously the show's been cancelled.
Yeah, do you think that is what ruined the show, and that's what got it cancelled, just because they released the episodes in the wrong order? Of course it's going to do bad. No one knows what's going on and think, what is this mess? I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, so it could be the same principle for Super. Like, you could lose a lot of people because they watch Super first.
Potentially.
They don't know the characters, because essentially you're watching a show from the middle.
Yeah.
So it's a shame, but there's nowhere you can really access D. It's like you can see things like Super on Crunchyroll and stuff like that, and it's not like you can go onto Netflix and see D unless you got a VPN, because I think you can see it on other Netflix. I think some other Netflix. I think
the films, but not the show. I don't think.
I think they talked about it on somewhere.
I think the newest films are on, but not the show.
Yeah, I don't know where you could see I think you would just have to find a site online somewhere.
Which there is sites. Not endorsing being a pirate, but there is sites, and you could do that.
But we would never endorse such a thing. No.
I never do that ever. I promise.
No, never.
To be fair, I did own all the DVDs at one point. I did sell them, but I did own
Where
all of
did you get the money for that?
Yes, I know. I spent a lot.
HMV, it's like I remember seeing them HMV for like 5 episodes. It was like a tenner.
No, it was like I had all of the OG, all of Z, and all of GT on DVD, and they were like £15 per season. And I had them all, but I did sell them because I wanted to make some money back. But yeah, I did have them, so I'm not a pirate.
Anime is so expensive to buy in DVDs. It's ridiculous.
But yeah, getting back on topic anyway about the relevancy and stuff, like it's at an all-time high.
I'm trying to buy the DVD.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't get this take at all. Just because they've revisited an old enemy, I don't understand it. Like literally, superhero has done so much. Like other mediums have ate this up. Fortnite is one of the biggest things ever. The age range that Fortnite reaches, like a lot of people say, "Oh, Fortnite is for kids," and yes, a lot of kids do play Fortnite. However, whether people admit it or not, older people do play Fortnite.
Yeah,
and so lots of people would have played this and consumed the Dragon Ball content. So it's one of the biggest mediums that would have touched it, and millions of people would have got it through Fortnite alone.
Yeah, it's almost
if Fortnite touches if your content touches Fortnite, it's a moneymaker. So you win just with that alone.
It's almost a shame that yes, the anime is coming back, but it's not going to be for a little while yet. Maybe I think they've already said next year, but that'll be for the Japanese release. We probably won't see an English version for like a year or two after that, because that's what happened with Super as well. We had to wait ages. I think they were like 70 plus episodes into releasing Super when episode 1 of the English dub came out. And it'll be the same again, which is a massive shame, because we have proven that Dragon Ball is massive in the West. And we've broke cinema records and everything for anime. And I really hope they do a global release of the next anime.
They have to.
But they probably won't.
We've proven ourselves. We have proven ourselves.
Yeah, but they probably won't, though, which is just a shame. But I can't see it happening. But if they did, the Dragon Ball hype train is going to continue, because it's coming out soonish anyway. Not like right now, but it's coming out soonish. And yeah, the hype for Dragon Ball will be at an all-time high.
But I mean, it just goes to show that the anime franchise is not in limbo.
No,
it is actively moving right now.
Yeah,
it is in creation.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't get the take. I fully disagree with this take.
Yeah, I also disagree with this take.
I think literally this take to me is just someone this person is a reviewer who saw the film, was very disappointed in it,
for some reason
looked for ways to basically just crap all over it, and missed, just swung and missed.
Yeah, and I agree with that as well.
And it's like, if you don't like it, fair enough, because the rest of the article talks about things like the CGI and stuff like that, and how they didn't like it and everything like that. I wasn't a fan of the CGI, because they talk about Broly and how they use this. They talk about how like the art was better in Broly and everything like that. I preferred Broly as well. Yes, I did. However, I got over it. And yeah, I did. I've told you multiple times that I much prefer the Broly art style. I did. I mentioned on this podcast. but I got over it. I thoroughly enjoyed Superhero. It was if I had to say there was one thing I would change about Superhero, it would be to change it back. However, if I think back to the film, it's not something I particularly remember unless I think of Whis' face. Anytime I remember Whis' face, I can't not think of it.
Yeah. And I don't mind the 3D models at all, and it's going to be easier to animate with the models compared to drawing frame by frame shots.
Yeah.
So
it just means that we might get things quicker.
yeah,
If they decide to do the new Dragon Ball series in that art style, it means we'll get it quicker.
yeah, and I'm completely fine with it.
Because they'll just reuse the models,
Yeah.
and it'll be much quicker. So it's something I can live with if it means we become things quicker, because it won't be bad. But like things like, if I think back to how like Gamma looked, I think things like Gamma look great. The Gammas look great.
That's the same reason why you don't like Whis, though. It's because Whis, you're used to seeing in a certain style. Gamma, this is the only style you've seen him in, so you're thinking, oh, he actually looks good.
No, just Whis had a really square, odd face.
I don't know. I didn't notice or see it, to be honest.
Like,
myself.
no, like Piccolo looks fine, Gohan looks fine. Gohan looks sick when he was at fighting at the end, like, other than his weird hair.
Yeah. I like his new base form hair, just the black hair all over. I like that.
I think Benwick is in the CGI discussion.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like that's the thing. Like this is the person. I think they didn't like the CGI, things like that. They weren't happy with the film. They wanted to be justified in what they were saying, and they just looked for this big issue to find. And I just think they've done a swing and a miss. And no, disagree. Massive.